Hi, all my lovelies. Welcome to another good Saturday edition. How are you today? I'm Tammy. I'm the Siberian Wind. I'm a little low energy today, so I do apologize if it doesn't seem like I'm my normal chipper self. I am. I'm here. I'm here. So I see that we've got Joyce and Susan and Michelle and Glenda and Pam and Andrea all in the chat. You guys are fantastic. Thank you so much for being here. I do greatly appreciate it. Let me get my chat up and going so I can see all the chat stuff right where I need to see it. So that way I'm not missing anything. How are you guys doing this morning? All right. I know I caught just a minute or two of Sean's. I didn't even pop into Donnell's. I went back to sleep. So I've been up all of 30 minutes. So yeah, good morning. Good morning. All right. What we are going to do today, once I silence my phone, is we are going to work on more of Halloween Town. You guys have not gotten to see any of this in Border Out. So that's what we're going to do today, is we're going to work on an embroidery. I'll be here for about an hour and a half. I'm not going to go, super fast on this. But I can't hear over the machine sometimes, so it's going to be what it is. Good morning, Sean. He says, good day to you. We can't stay long, but wanted to say hi. Guys, I am 30 subscribers away from goal of 500. So, you guys, we have just over half a month left to get to the 31st of October. And wouldn't it be awesome to hit that 500 before the end of the month? I would absolutely be in love with it. Good morning, Mike. He says, hey, Tammy. Welcome. Glad you are here in the chat. Let me turn my fan on, guys. It is getting hot and stuffy in here, and I think my downstairs neighbor has got her heat on. I don't think it's really necessary to have heat on right now, but apparently that's the fun thing to do today. So she's gonna burn me out a little bit. Let me get that fan turned on. All right, that is turned on. Laura, welcome. She says, hi, Tammy and everyone. She's spending the day with her hubby. No worries. If you won something on Tuesday's giveaway, it will be going out Monday. 29 now. Woohoo! Yay! Giovanna, welcome. Good morning. She says, Charles Amore, are you following me or me you? Susan had the pre-locate walkthrough Thursday. Date has changed to January 7th, so now you have to live with a wall of boxes and disarray for over. Oh no. And Sean is off. Good day, Sean. Have a good day. Mike's asking how everyone is. Welcome in, Linda. She says, good morning. So good to be able to watch videos again. Going to sew while I watch. I don't blame you one bit. Pam says, yay, embroidery. I was searching embroidery programs last night. Can't get my FAF system up and cannot afford Bernina software. I bought mine years ago, so that is part of how I afforded it. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on this. If it is too loud, if you guys cannot hear me over the embroidery machine at any time, please let me know. I will figure out what kind of adjustments we need to make. It wasn't very loud when we did this on Zoom, but I fully expect that it could be completely a different story now that we are not on Zoom. So I'm going to speed that up just a hair. And I'm actually going to turn the light off so you guys can see what's going on the machine here in just a second as well. Kathy Quilts and Crafts is here. She says, good morning, team. Welcome in, Kathy. Glad you are here. Yeah, so we are getting another Halloween Town embroidery block done today. Let's see. Let me go turn that light off for you guys so you guys can see. There we go. All right. Laura says, I'm so super excited about the quilt. When I heard my name called on the replay, I squealed and my husband thought I was going crazy. I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh, I love it. All right. So what I've got on here right now is just a basting box. A lot of embroidery designs. If you are doing any kind of applique or it's layered or anything like that, the machine will give you what is called a basting box. And that is giving you guidelines of where you need to lay your next piece of fabric. So one thing that I do, and it's not really the recommended thing to do, but what I do is I do hold my pieces in place. I don't typically tape them down or anything. If you would feel more comfortable taping them down, you absolutely can. One thing I also do on applique is if I am holding it down, instead of hitting the button to say okay and start sewing, I'm actually using my foot pedal that's on the floor. So I've got my foot pressing the foot pedal, and that's powering the machine. So if you guys have never thought about it before, if your machine is an embroidery and sewing machine, when you go to do embroidery, just give it a try. Leave that foot pedal connected if your machine allows you to do that, and try putting your foot on the foot pedal and see if you are able to embroider that way. So that way I can keep my hands out of the way and not embroider through my fingers ever again. I've done it once before, and I still use my hands on the embroidery. So I'm a little on the crazy side. So I am embroidering with almost a white thread right now, so you guys will see more here in just a minute. I could go ahead and change to my first purple, but I'm not going to. What it's going to embroider now is the sky area. And anytime the machine stops like that, it is going to have some kind of prompt up here telling you what it wants me to do. Whether it is done with the thread color or whether it wants me to trim my jump threads. Welcome in, Rob. Welcome, welcome. Yes, a New York beauty is Mike. Yes, Pam, you got it right. Yes, Rob, welcome. Glad you're here. I had a local friend that was also, she had gotten, she was entered in the Sew and Tell giveaway, and I knew she wasn't going to be able to be on the live because she already told me she wasn't going to be able to be there. And she's like, as soon as you know who it is, send me a message, send me a text. And she called me about, I got off here at like 8 or something. She called me at like 10:30 Tuesday night. She's like, I can't believe Laura won. That's so exciting. She was so happy for you. So you have locals that were excited for you too, Laura. And the label is now on it, by the way. It is sitting out in my living room. I started attaching the label and I wasn't happy with what I did. So I actually had to rip it all back out and do it over. So, yeah. Susan says, great news that her daughter got hired for the job. Yay! She'll be moving to Western Washington about the same time you relocate for the renovations. Oh, you both will be living out of moving boxes for a little bit. Oh, but that is amazing news. I know you're so excited to have your daughter nearby. That'll be fantastic. Laura says, I'm absolutely thrilled. Yes, right? You ought to be. And it's even personalized. It has your name on it now. It has my name and it has your name. So I do have a needle threader. Now, I don't know if you guys can tell, but sometimes when the machine stops and it is time for me to rethread the machine with a new color of thread, sometimes it stops really, really close to this edge and it's really hard to use the needle threader. If you have the ability on your embroidery machine to go forward and go back, that is a fantastic time to use it. So go forward or go back to a different thread color where you can easily thread the machine. And then, you know, you can go forward from there. So the one that we're doing today is Bride of Frankenstein. I did embroider one last night. This is the one that I embroidered last night. It's the crow sitting on top of 2 pumpkins. And the crow is glitter fabric. So glitter black. So, Rob says that he's taking a short break to catch your breath from stroke cleanup. I don't blame you, Rob. You've got a lot to go. Probably. I would fully bet that you have plenty to do. So any breaks you take, absolutely come spend them with me. I don't mind. Susan says that this is the daughter who's lived here her whole life. The younger daughter is the one who lives on the other side of the country. Giovanna says, Tammy, be careful with your fingers. I am. Right now, this is, you know, this is the simple stuff. And I did have my foot on the foot pedal. So it wasn't the machine sewing. So if I felt anything on my fingers, I'd be able to stop immediately. Alright, so what I'm going to do, you guys won't be able to see it because it's going to be off here in my lap. But the machine has stitched, and it's stitched in the same color. It stitched this outline here. And all this down here is extra. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my applique scissors. They kind of look like duckbill scissors. And I'm going to, Mike, you're funny. I'm going to trim away the extra fabric. Now, when I trim away the sky fabric, because of the design of my hoop, it is a little hard for me to use the duckbill scissors the way they were intended. I kind of need some left-handed ones, but I'm not going to go and buy any. However, they'll still be just fine. The duckbill side, the long, flat, angled side, is designed to protect whatever is underneath it so that you don't accidentally trim threads, you don't trim fabrics, you don't cut into anything. I love that. Mike, he's like, what is the fun in that, Giovanna? Protecting my fingers. No, I have sewn into my fingers before, and doing machine embroidery is actually how I did it. I was holding fabric in place for an applique, and this is why they tell you not to do it. I was holding fabric in place for an applique, and I did get distracted. I was working at the time, and I was answering a question about how to patch a hole in a polo shirt. And I did not pay close enough attention, and yeah, my fingers, I ended up going to the ER. They did ultrasounded my fingers, and I did not have any needle bits left over on my fingers, which was really, really good news. But we were worried that was the case. Alright, so now that I'm not doing any applique, I'm letting the machine take over. Giovanna says, you don't want to give away DNA, do you? And Giovanna says, I have that thing. Yeah, I kind of do. I mean, mine, they're considered delicate, like, in the general scheme of things. But they weren't delicate that day. The gentleman that was asking me the questions about fixing the patching his polo shirt, the hole in the polo shirt. As soon as my finger got hit, I of course reacted and brought my hand up to my, up to my chest, kind of like holding it up out of the way. And then I looked at it for a second, and then wrapped my other hand around it because it was bleeding, and I was trying not to get blood on anything else. And he noticed that, but he kept talking. So yeah, he was a little clueless. It did not help me much that he was a little clueless. All right, so here's one thing that I do that I tell everybody not to do. Do not pull your thread out like that. If I have the slightest knot on my thread, I don't do it. With as much as I have been doing embroidery throughout the years, and I can take this machine apart, I'm a little bit more confident in doing it, but I don't recommend doing that. Do as I say, not as I do. Pam says, Tammy, do you have the solid insert on your table to have your machine? Yes, I do. Yeah, when I bought this table, I did already have this machine and Ricky. So I bought the inserts for this machine and for Beauty and for Ricky, and I bought the solid table. So that is, yeah, I do have the solid insert, and that's what I'm using. Otherwise, this machine would not sit up so high, and I wouldn't be able to embroider. Giovanna says, how rude of him. I know. I ended up having to tell him that I was very sorry, but all his further questions he was going to go have to ask. And this is back when Hancock Fabrics was a thing. I told him, I was like, you're going to have to ask a Hancock Fabrics employee for help on the rest of this, sir, because I need to go seek medical attention for my hand. And he actually looked at me kind of like he was confused as to why I would need to, like, walk away from him. And I was doing everything not to, like, cry or open my hand or whatever. Pam says, I need to buy this solid piece. Cha-ching. Yeah, I know. I've actually thought about buying Grande, so I have a bigger table, so that, you know, I've got the portable one so I can take with me, and Ricky goes well in the portable one. But I think for Beauty, I really do need to probably get the Grande. And I would just get the Grande, and I would get the insert for Beauty and the solid top if I bought the Grande table. But it's a little out of my price range right now, so it's still on the future wish list item. All right, Jacqueline, welcome in. She says hello from Maryland, waiting for her daughter to have. We're waiting for her daughter to have a baby. Yay! That's great news. That's great news. That is very good news. I'm excited for you. That's exciting. All right, I'm looking real quick to see what this next piece is. Okay, it is more windows. Okay. So I did something funky, and I really regret it. How much does that mechanic cost, Tammy? You talking about the Grande table? I think $500 and something. I would have to look. I am going to put together a wish list of things that I do want to get. And I will put together like a place to put funds into it in order to help purchase things. So if anybody is wanting to help contribute to funding my studio, you're welcome to do it. I'm not asking you to do that, but if that's something that you're moved to do, it will be an option soon. I have not, because you can't buy everything that is on my wish list on Amazon. I can't just set up an Amazon list. Oh, my Bernina. Oh, about, I think when I bought it, it was about 10 grand. Mike says, my wish list says yes. Yeah, right? I know. I would love to, like, upgrade this table and get a bigger table, at least for, you know, lives and all, because I am constantly here in this same place. Alright, this is just getting pinned up there temporarily. Alright, so here's one thing I'm going to do that is going to look kind of odd to everybody. Alright, so, you know, this is what I've got stitched out so far. So we have stitched stippling all around here. These are the windows for the house that's going on here. Now, the house is in a darker color. So, I've got about I've kind of figured out about where, like, my your car is cheaper. Yeah, I mean, my new purchase car is only slightly more expensive than my machine. So, and I don't know if that's because of inflation or what. All right, so when I'm changing to a darker color of thread, one thing that I am also doing is I am also changing my bobbin thread. So I am using only white and black. I have for my bobbin thread. I have it's OESD brand bobbin thread, and I have had this for a really long time. So I do not know how much it costs now. I don't know. I have not looked at replacing it. But it is, you know, I've got a couple of big spools still. It kind of looks like serger thread. But so instead of having white on my bobbin, now that I've changed to a darker thread color, I'm going to change to black. If you have any issues with your bobbin thread gap pulling up, oh, that's awesome, Giovanna. Her cat caught the fly that had been bugging her. That's awesome. So if you've ever had your thread pull up, or if you use dark thread throughout the whole embroidery and your light colors kind of disappear, or you see that shadowing or anything like that, I recommend changing your bobbin thread color to more closely match your embroidery thread. Now if you're ever concerned about it, yes, you can use embroidery thread in your bobbin. And if you're doing freestanding lace or anything where you're going to see the back of it, then you want to change your thread color to match your bobbin thread. So you would put your embroidery thread in your bobbin in addition to being in your top. But nobody's going to be seeing the back of these, so it's not really going to matter. So 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. So I've got 6 after this one. So this one will fill this hole, and then we'll have 6 more to go. Look how exciting. Giovanna says always match the bobbin with the top thread. Yeah, so my thing is, welcome in, Joyce. I saw your comment earlier, so welcome back. So I could put bobbins, I could put all these different colors on bobbins, but I have a limited number of bobbins. Bobbins is actually something that's going on my wish list for this machine. So, you know, they are definitely on my wish list. But I'm not going to load up. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15. I've got 15 colors just sitting here. And I've got a few more sitting on the floor, in my bucket on the floor. And I don't have that many bobbins to keep changing out thread to be an exact match. And bobbin weight thread for embroidery is going to be a little thicker. And because it is thicker, it is less likely to be pulled to the top. Giovanna says, Glenda, it only took about all afternoon. Glenda says that her fur babies do that too. Mine does, or he tries. I'll put it that way, he tries. He was annoyed by one, gosh, where were we? I feel like, oh, I know where, I was at the quilt show on last Saturday. And Susan says, must get a cup of coffee. Need caffeine and warmth. I don't blame you, Susan. It's a little chilly this morning. At least here it is. It's warming up fast, though. But my baby we were sitting, eating. Welcome in, Jody. She says, hello, all. Jody is Quilt Squirrel. Glad you made it this morning. We are less than 30 away from hitting the 500 mark. It's time to celebrate. You know, once we hit that we can celebrate before we hit 500 because I'm super excited. I'm super excited. But yeah, the puppy was looking around trying to catch what we call sky raisins. So we don't want to call them a fly because then we kind of get grossed out thinking about the animal eating the fly and then coming up to lick us. So we call them sky raisins. Pam says, it's been so long since I used an embroidery machine. It's a bit overwhelming relearning it. It seems more complex than I remembered. If you used it a good amount before, it will come back to you. It'll feel like second nature. Now you changed brands, so it is going to be a little overwhelming. I will not disagree with you. It is going to be a little bit overwhelming. That being said, it's not really that hard. Bernina does kind of have their own. I've sewn on different brands. I've embroidered with different brands of embroidery machines. Bernina does have their own. This is my spool of black, guys. That's how much black I got. I got some black. This is my updated spool of black. I already ran out of the last one. Once you get the hang of Bernina embroidery, it's the same across every Bernina machine. High end to low end, all the Bernina machines do the same exact processes. So that's kind of a nice thing with it. Let's see. Mike says that his kitty was a great mouse, so unfortunately he would always bring them to me in the bed. Oh, I am not jealous at all, Mike. I will bypass the mouser for that. Oh, Giovanna says it is when it gets the stink bugs and eats them, then his breath. Oh, gosh. Well, I apparently do not have the ability to smell the stink bug smell, and I don't know why. I don't know if that's, it's just faint enough, or I'm just not getting close enough to them. I don't know, but thankfully I have bypassed the smell of stink bug. So yeah, if you have an embroidery machine, so one of the things that I do is I do have the Bernina embroidery software. Giovanna says I'm lucky. I know. I've been told that quite a few times. But if you have a Bernina or if you have an embroidery machine, you can purchase design packs and you can stitch those directly out. You don't have to have a software element unless you're just converting it from like a CD to a USB stick or plugging the USB cord in from your computer to your machine. There's things like that. But like these designs, I didn't technically have to transfer them like this, but I did. Now, all of my designs that I have had for years and years and years, I deleted some files. So when I get this up on my screen right now, my machine is telling me this is green. So I have to go back and look at the original design to see what I'm stitching to know what color I want to stitch it. Let's see. Mike says, I don't think I've ever smelled a stink bug. See, I know that I haven't because I know what a stink bug looks like. And I've intentionally crushed them to see if I can smell them, and I cannot pick up the smell. Something about the smell range, I'm not able to pick that up. And I don't know if that is before my fibromyalgia kicked off, that I couldn't smell them, or after, I don't know. But I do know I cannot smell them, or I have not yet been able to smell them. Laura says that she has an embroidery machine, but honestly, she's been doing more quilting than embroidery lately. I would be too, if I wasn't trying to get Halloween down embroidered so we can quilt it. Giovanna says, Mike, you don't want to, believe me. Glenda says, I got a box delivered from Walmart with stink bugs. Oh no! Melina's here. She says, good morning. She'll be washing dishes and listening. Absolutely, Melina. I am embroidering this morning, so that is what you're going to be hearing a lot of in the background. I don't think, I mean, you guys can tell me how much, of this you can hear. Because I know at least on my microphone gauge, I can tell that it is picking up the machine. And I don't know how much of it you guys are hearing. Let's see. Laura, I've never even used my embroidery site yet. What is a stink bug? Mike, you're funny. Let's see, Andrea, welcome back. She says howdy everyone who's come in since the first howdy. She's been here but working on a quilt as you go. Quilting from Blocks that I post on TV's Facebook page. Taking a short break. Yeah, absolutely. Pam, you're funny. Glenda, did Walmart charge you extra? Oh, I would hope not. I would hope not. That's a mess. That is a mess. Oh my gosh. You guys are so funny. You guys are so funny. I'm going to look ahead real quick, see what the next thing is. Alright, outline, and then we're doing dirt next. Okay. My dirt is going to be that color. So I don't have to change my bobbin thread. And then the path is going to be that color. Okay. So I got my next two colors pulled out. Gotta love it. Katie, she says, hi everyone, dreading late made breakfast. Oh, you're fine, Katie. I woke up 30 minutes before the live started, so you're good. Laura says, Mike, my last machine, I did way more embroidery. My new machine has way more capabilities, but I've only used it once. My new machine has 11 or 12 inch throat space, so I've been excited about that. Oh, absolutely. I think I've got 10. Dawn, welcome in. I think first time I've seen you in my chat. Thank you for being here. She says, I didn't know what a stink bug was until I moved to West Virginia. They don't have them in Minnesota. Yeah, they do have them in West Virginia. They also have them in North Alabama. Laura says, when I'm super stressed though, watching design stitch out is super relaxing. Oh yeah, it absolutely is. And that's kind of how I started with Halloween Town, was just kind of wanting to stitch it slowly. But now that I put myself on a time frame that I want to get this done this Halloween season, and do the quilt top this Halloween season, I'm not sure that I'm going to have it completely quilted before Halloween. So just full disclosure, it may not be completely done. But yeah, it's going to be pretty. Giovanna says, Tammy, you should see my collection of serger threads. I have boxes full. I used to have boxes of serger threads. I used to. Now I have boxes of embroidery thread. I have lots of embroidery thread. Now, the thread that I use is Isacord. It comes on these green spools. This label is kind of faded a little bit. Some of them did fade like that. So it's kind of hard to see. Let's see if I can get nope, can't get it to focus really and truly. But it says Isacord. It's made in Germany. These are 1,000-meter spools. The big spool that I'm using for the black is 5,000 meters. It will have the color number and lot number, and then it has ET40, and that's because it's a 40 weight. Some of these, like this one, the label came off of, so I don't know what color it is. I do have a color chart somewhere that's actual thread, but I have not updated any of my Isacord except for getting these big spools. I have not updated any of it in years. So this is really old thread, but it's been stored well. So I first and foremost am using all the spools that did not have a plastic covering on them. So anything that I had already opened, that is first and foremost. I still have boxes of it that are unopened. So they will start filtering into my shelves once I empty spools. But I mean, I've got like one that's like close to empty, but I don't have anything to embroider with it. I've used it. It was one of my reds, the zombie up here, the zombie lady in the red dress. I used some red for her, but I haven't had red come back up. And I don't know if it'll come up in this one. This is Bride of Frankenstein, and they've got her her eye makeup in purple on here. So once I see something come up with that, her eye makeup and her bottom lip are the same color in the original picture. So I guess I'll see once I get there. I've got to see. I don't even know what all of her is applique. I'm assuming that her hair and her face and her dress are applique. I think the cat that is in this scene is just stitching. So I don't think I've got to worry about that. Oh. So I bought something the other day. I bought boxes of conversation cards. And I'm going to randomly pull a conversation card out. And we're going to go with the questions. Welcome, Chloe! Good morning! Well, it's not super early for you now, but good morning. And I do have to get some breakfast, so I apologize. Giovanna says, my thread is old, but still good because I keep them in the dark. And my Bernina accepts any thread, so I'm okay. So serger thread has a stretch to it. That's the main reason I wouldn't use it for like embroidery or something, because it will actually stretch your piece. Like it'll tighten up on your piece. But if it's working, then who am I to complain? I mean, it is what it is, but it is polyester. So as long as you're not mixing a cotton, it shouldn't cause future problems. Katie says, making breakfast reinforced the idea that I have to go grocery shop today. Now I'm out of eggs and cream and cheese. Oh my gosh. Oh, yes, you do have to go grocery shopping. Okay, so our conversation card for today. If you could have any magical power, what would it be and why? If you could have any magical power, what would it be and why? Mike says, bacon, Katie. Right? My husband is an eggs and bacon guy. And he likes the breakfast potatoes. He doesn't like hash browns. He likes the chunky, like, sliced bacon potato, or sliced potatoes. Katie's like, I have bacon. Y'all are hilarious. I love it. I love it. Ooh, Chloe's putting up Halloween decorations outside. Woohoo! Mike says invisibility, because duh. Giovanna, she says, go shopping with a full stomach, Katie. Yes. Always go shopping after you have eaten. Never go shopping on an empty stomach. Andrea says, supersonic hearing because I am tired of not being able to hear. I understand that. What would I do? I think I would... This is going to sound really weird. And it's kind of appropriate for Halloween. Okay. And I've been watching a lot of shows, so... You know, bear with me. Part of it's a Hollywood thing, not just, you know, a reality. But if I could be a vampire, that would be my magical power. All the stuff that vampires can do. So the really high speed, like getting from one place to the other, like running and like not being tired of it, and not really needing to sleep. And then I could drink my food. That would be fantastic. Like, I wouldn't want to, like, bite into anybody or anything or whatever. Like, I wouldn't want to hunt. Like, that is not part of my superpower. But I would love to have vampire powers, like not needing to sleep, because then I could do all of the stuffs. Like, I could do all of it. Welcome in, Deb. She said, good morning, Tammy. Welcome, welcome. Mike says, never shopped on an empty stomach. A cart of chips and cookies and bacon, right? Pam says, transportation, to be able to visit and travel to see people. Ooh, that'd be awesome. Is vampire a verb? Lol, Mike, you're funny. Oops, Mike. You put too many symbols in the chat. Nightbot didn't like you. Did I read the Christopher Pike books about vampires? No, I did not. I've watched Legacies. I've watched, The Immortals, maybe, I think? Is The Immortals one of them? What did I just watch? I just watched, Discovery of Witches. I just watched Discovery of Witches. And it's set in current times, and yeah, they do have to go back in time. Like, the witch she can time travel. So I don't want to give too much away. Your cab's got you into trouble, Mike says. That's funny. But yeah, they just buy blood bags and put it in the fridge for when I'm hungry, that kind of thing. That would be fantastic. Giovanna says, mine would be able to touch anyone or a thing and take away their pain and heal them. Ooh, I kind of like that one, Giovanna. I would have to fly you over here. I'd have to use my vampire powers to earn a whole lot of money to fly you over here. So you could do that. Deb says, very cool wish, Giovanna. Yeah, so the question, Deb, is if you could have any magical power, what would it be and why? What would your magical power be and why? Like, so I don't want to be the creepy part of the vampire. Like, I don't want that part. But I want the other parts of the vampire powers. That would be fantastic for me. So, yeah. Glenda and Chloe also like it as well. Mike, you will never learn, Amore. No, he won't. Pam says YouTube police banned me and I had to ask to get it back. Since then I try no emojis. I don't blame you, Pam. I don't blame you one bit. I haven't gotten in trouble with YouTube yet for emojis, but I am very aware of it, and I just only put one smiley face. Pam says, because they didn't tell me why. Yeah, it could have been any number of things. Like, if you go into the chat or something, you see 3 dots, like, next to somebody's name or whatever. It gives you the option to report or block or remove or go, well, it gives me the option to remove. So you can report people or, stuff like that. So it could have been somebody accidentally clicked it. And it got you in trouble. Mike says, I'm too joyous, Sammy. Oh, that's fine. I mean, Nightbot's what got you. It wasn't YouTube, it was Nightbot. So when we get into November, I am going to try a new software. I think we're going to see what happens, because I'm not sure how much headache Zoom is going to be trying to have Kathy come over here all the time. So I don't know if Thursdays are going to be my only day using the new software, or what exactly I'm going to do. Just be prepared. My channel may have a slightly different look coming up in November. Mike's apologizing to Nightbot. Yeah, Nightbot doesn't listen to that. You know that. So what was I going to say? Guys, I'm so excited. I mean, there's so much coming up. I talked to people yesterday about some plans for this time next year. I'm already planning for next year. I guess I can ask you guys then. Okay, so if I do a mystery quilt, I know a lot of people struggle with choosing fabrics for their mystery quilts. if I do a mystery quilt, if I start a mystery quilt on the channel, do you guys want the option to buy kits? Would that be something reasonable that you would be interested in doing? Susan says Facebook is doing that. The wife of the morning prayer group priest was in Facebook jail. No one can figure out why. Oh no! Goodness. Giovanna says, okay, Pam, will bring me to you, Tammy, and I will cure you. Is that a plan? Yes, that is a plan, Giovanna. Absolutely. You get that special power and we'll do something. We'll get you here. Mike says, wow, Susan. Yeah, right? Now, I know, not Facebook jail, but Facebook Marketplace jail, you can get in that if you have really bad interactions with a buyer or seller. So, like, there's someone in my local area that is, it could be me, or I could go, I was looking at contracting through a local quilt shop here in town that would be willing to ship. Mama J, Andrea says, Tammy just finished her test of the Star-Crossed Path, so as soon as I get her feedback and the pattern edited, it will be available for anyone interested. Yay! Yay! Yeah, I did get mine done. All of my notes are in. Yay, I'm done. Chloe says it depends on the fabric. Yeah, that makes sense too. I was going to talk to them. I'm going to talk to them probably in the next month or two, and talk to the main lady, the manager, and see if she likes that idea, because if she does, I want to offer it in maybe like 2 different colorways. So you have options if you want to purchase a kit. Now it won't be pre-cut, so everything you'll get yardage, or whatever the fabric requirements are. You won't get, it won't be cotton cuts. It won't be the cut triangles or whatever. But I'm thinking about 2 different options for how you could assemble the quilt. And I don't know how I'm going to do the different size options in the kits yet. So that's still kind of up in the air. So yeah, we'll figure that out. But I have until this time next year to get it going. Andrea says, I will need links to all your lives and any other videos you did so I can include them in the pattern and video. Absolutely, Andrea. I have not edited my tutorial yet, but I will get it edited. I've got a lot of video editing to do this upcoming week, and I have my infusion on Thursday, so starting on Thursday I can kind of zone out a little bit and do some video editing while I'm not feeling up to sewing or quilting. So that's kind of my plan right now, is to work on it this week. I need to use my Stash and Stop Stress buying fabric because it's pretty, says Pam. Well, you can do either option. Mike, Pam, never stop. I love it. Never stop. Mike, you crack me up. You need to be in more of my lives. Could you imagine if William came over here? He would be going 90 to nothing. I mean, I was watching him the other night, and I'm just going, guys, me and William together at the same time, how many trains of thought can we go on? Because we will be off the rails. It will be insane. I have to get to sewing as I haven't for too long. Absolutely, Giovanna. You gotta be touching some fabric and petting it and putting needle thread. Andrea is the pattern that Tammy sent on sale now. Or no, she's got to finish editing it. It's that Star-Crossed Path. Let me grab it real quick. You're on late for me, but I love playing. You are funny, Mike. You are funny. Oh. This is Star-Crossed Path. This one with all the different stirs on it. And yes, it is folded. No, I'm not unfolding it the whole way. But this one, that is the one that she is talking about. Let's see. Just finished. Okay, you're waiting on Jess's feedback. Okay. Melina says, okay, let's go make bed now. Yes, please, take me along with you. Chloe, I like it. Yeah, I agree. Giovanna just sew for a few minutes today. Yep. Who's William? That's a name creator I haven't heard of. William is a so-called life. Or my so-called life. Yeah, thank you, Mike. He is out of Los Angeles, and he's a little wild. You can play I Spy in his studio behind him, and it's all across the board. Laura says, sorry, I gotta go. It's hubby and me time. Have a great weekend, everyone. Absolutely, Laura. Have a great time. Giovanna says that she woke up at 4:30 to potty and saw he was on. She's like, yes. William is a character. He is absolutely a character. William and I need to do a solo and make some pants. I'm not sure about that, Mike. I don't know. You guys might get some interesting comments. I'm just going to put it that way. Susan says, my problem right now, Pam, is unique fabric. I know I have, but it's packed, so I go and buy more. That I understand too, Susan. Absolutely. Katie says, William is hilarious. Yes, he is. Okay. Kathy says, bye, Laura. Enjoy your time with your hubby. And he does love pineapples, Giovanni. Yeah, you were right. He does. The quilt show that I went to did the pineapple block as their block for this show. And it was like it was their theme this year. I don't remember the name of the block for next year. I've got to look back at my paperwork. But it's kind of like a Jacob's Ladder block. It's from the Underground Railroad quilt. Or that's where they're pulling it from. And it's a very pretty block, and it's easier to do. Well, it's prettier to me than the pineapple block. I'm not really fond of the pineapple block in quilting. It is just not my thing. So I did not make a pineapple quilt because I dislike the pineapple block that much. It's not that I, would not do one. I've done them in the past, but it's just not on my list of favorites. Glenda says that she can't spell today. You're fine, Glenda. You're fine. So that's actually a great question. Okay, so I just told you guys, I really dislike the pineapple block. Like, it's not, I won't tell you that your pineapple block is horrendous. Like, it's not that kind of thing. I just find it so incredibly boring for myself that I can't stand to make them. Is there a block or a quilt design that you don't like that you can't stand either? Katie says the pineapple block makes my eyes vibrate. I think that's kind of my issue too. It's a lot of movement. I can handle it in small doses. Now, I do have a quilt that I want to do that does use pineapple blocks. And it is on my list. But have I done it yet? No, of course not. No, of course not. I have not done that yet. Alright, let me see what these are that it wants to stitch now. Okay, these are tombstones. Alright, it's going to do outlines. I'm thinking that's going to be those outlines. Okay. So I kind of have an idea of what I'm stitching. Because what the color is on my screen is a brown, but that doesn't mean anything because my black earlier was a light green. So when I copied my embroidery files, and if you have embroidery files on your sewing machine or whatever, it is eye teasing. So, Giovanni, you're right. If you have embroidery files on your computer and you're copying them from one location to another, go ahead and copy every single darn file that goes with it and keep it all together. there were extra files that I didn't think mattered, and I deleted a whole bunch of them. And I have thousands of embroidery files, guys. Like thousands, like over 35,000, I think. Last time I counted, or last time the computer counted for me, because I don't count it myself. But I deleted all my color information files. So when I send it to the embroidery machine, if I don't go in, which I didn't, if I don't go into my embroidery software and manually choose new colors for everything, see, I can't do the needle threader there. So we're going to move it over a couple, and then we'll come back to that part of the design. So we are getting closer. Just don't delete files when you if you copy your embroidery files, or you have to move them around. Because then you're in my boat and you don't know what colors are supposed to be what, and your embroidery machine doesn't tell you. Katie says, love log cabin blocks or courthouse steps, but I'll pass on the pineapple one. Yeah, right. Susan says, I don't want to make a double wedding ring, but that is more emotional than just not liking the pattern. Oh, I understand that. Pam says, me too, Susan. Same here. Katie says, Kathy. Chloe says, well. Giovanna says, I love the tumbling blocks. The 3D effect is so beautiful. Yes. Like the tumbling blocks that I did, the YC ones. I think my biggest thing that I don't like, there's a lot of things that I do not mind doing. Like there's tons. I don't mind most quilting designs, and I will eventually do a pineapple block somewhere, some way. But I don't inherently like them. I can always make it abstract. Not on the quilt pattern that I am going to be doing. If you guys, I don't know how many of you guys heard of George Siciliano. If you have heard of him, please put it in the chat that you have heard of him. You know who I'm talking about. He and his wife, Virginia, for years have taught at Paducah. And they have like taught at the National Quilt Museum. You can attend one of the lectures. You know, all of those kinds of things. They are getting up there in years. So I know that they weren't there the last couple years or so. Like they can't travel anymore from Pennsylvania to make that trip anymore. But he's got some fabulous designs out. Mike says that he has the teeny tiny FPP pineapple block. Yeah. Chloe says that she hasn't heard of George Siciliano. Oh, the embroidery? No. I could, but I'm not going to. It's already abstract enough. I'm already changing it up enough. Let's see. Tiffany did a supersized pineapple block, and I liked that. Now, one of my ladies in my quilt group... Oh, this is weeds. Oh, that is not the color I wanted for weeds. Okay, hang on. We're going to back this up a little bit. So one of my friends in one of the local quilting groups I'm in did do a pineapple block quilt, and it's fantastic. She's not 100% in love with the colors, but it looks fantastic. But I definitely, like, if I did a pineapple block, it would have to be as large as what hers was, just so that I could, you know, stomach the pineapple part of the block. It's pretty at the size she made it. Anything smaller, I think, is just too much eye movement for me. Alright, so what I did is I went ahead and cut my thread. Welcome, it's Kennedy. She says, hello, everyone in Alabama. I'm late. You're not late. You're on time. Mike says, Katie, Adidas. Sitar has a giant one I want to do. I'll be honest. I'm okay without doing the pineapple block. And Giovanna's never heard of George Siciliano. Okay. So George Siciliano, I will have to pull out my stack of his patterns, and if somebody can remind me in the Facebook group I will put a link to his website where you guys can order patterns if you like. But I will bring them out tomorrow night. Well, tomorrow night I'm going to have the lights funky. We'll figure something out. I may do a screen share tomorrow night. And I cut my thread again. You guys. That's what I get for talking too much. Oh. Alright, I do have the option to roll back on my stitches, and that's what I'm going to do. So this little part of my leaf or grass is going to look funky. But George Siciliano makes super tiny things. Super tiny. Lots and lots of pieces. And it is all foundation pieced. Now, it's not foundation paper pieced. You're not taking the foundation out. You do leave the foundation in the finished project. But it is all foundation pieced. So all you have to do is sew on the line. You do have to decrease your stitch length considerably because of how tiny the pieces are. But there's color charts, there's like all these things that you can do, you know, to follow along. It doesn't require a lot of fabric to make them. So I do want to finally get around to doing one of his projects this upcoming year. So I do have plans to do it, so you guys will see it. There's one that I want to order of his that I have not ordered, and it's the biggest one that he's got. It's like ribbons or something. Because I think I have an idea about how I would want to color it. Oh, I could have left it. Because it did stitch into the... Oh, Mike looked him up. He said his work is sick. Yes, isn't it? Isn't it? It's fantastic. Susan says, I will admit the business of the 6-inch pineapple, or the busyness of the 6-inch pineapple blocks I did in Summer Challenge wall quilt, but I do like it. I'm going to use a brightly colored jelly roll on white for the 12-inch block quilt. I don't blame you. Mike says, instantly obsessed, right? Right? You can order from him, and you can get the digital patterns, or you can, like, I mean, when you order from him, they will ship you, if you're ordering it on the foldy stuff, the foundation stuff. I've seen him work. Definitely get the little ruler that he's got too. It's super bright. Super bright. And it's a 6-inch ruler, guys. And it's on the ruler from George Siciliano. It does say size really matters. Size really does matter. Something like that. I do have the ruler. I need to pull out all the ones I've got. I got the tree one, and I've got, oh gosh, I can't think of the names of them. There we go. It's Kennedy. She says the block for next year is called the Railroad Crossing block. Yeah, that is the block for the Gillette Quilt Show. So I don't know why I went ahead and pulled this. Oh well, it's fine. I'm about to be putting the ground on here. We are finally to the ground. So I've done the sky and most everything that goes in the sky. Not everything, because we still have stars that'll go at the end. But we've done a lot of it. But yeah, so next year's block for the Gillette Quilt Show here in Wyoming is the Railroad Crossing block. Giovanna says, I'm intrigued as I love sewing tiny. So here's the other very cool thing about George Siciliano is he does a lot of his in silk. So his quilts, these super, super tiny pieces are silk. So it's absolute, I mean, there's no really other way to describe them other than just gorgeous. Am I right, Mike? Now that you've looked him up. He is a former Marine. He was in the Bugle Corps when he was in the service. He's a very tall gentleman. And he's not exactly what I would have ever expected to hear from as a quilter. And what he said, how he learned to quilt, is he kept giving his wife Virginia ideas on quilts that she ought to make. And she got fed up with him, and she said, here's a machine, here's the fabric, go do it yourself. Mike said, I'm staring at his stuff, right? He's got some good stuff. He's got some good patterns, and they are absolutely worth it. They're absolutely worth it. Pam says, I think I'm old enough I can avoid micro, even mini blocks. My eyes just don't like tiny. Welcome in, Melissa. Glad you are here. All right, for some reason, I have skipped a step, or the machine has skipped a step, or something. So, oh well. It's okay. So I'm going to go back, because we're going to redo that, so that I can actually tack this down, because it didn't give me the option. So we're going to tack this down, and then I will trim away the extra. Pam says his work is amazing, right? I've seen it in person. It is something. I mean, when you're looking at a 24-inch or smaller quilt that has thousands of pieces in it, I mean, there's just no other words other than wow when you see it in person. And it took him a while to get ribbons where you could actually, where he was willing to sell it. I absolutely, Giovanna. She says that she'll check him out when I post his link after the live. Absolutely. Now, Mike, you're in my Facebook group. If you want to post a link to his page in the Facebook group, please do that. Because I will be doing one of his quilts sometime this upcoming year, because I have been dying to get to them. And now that I'm actually making so much progress on so many other projects, I think that would be a good kind of change gears project to, work on every so often. Because, I mean, he's just, I want to order any and all of whatever patterns he's got left that I do not already have. Because I don't want him to pass away and me not get them. Like, I'm, like, really absolutely thinking about it. Giovanna says that is art. Yes, it is. It is definitely art. But yeah, he kept trying to give his wife, Virginia, ideas for quilts she should make. Because he had all these fantastic ideas. And she's like, well, I mean, she's a great applique piecer. Like, she's a fantastic quilter. Won awards, all of that. Chloe says, I love your Halloween Town blocks. Can't wait to see this one. Right? I am kind of excited myself. I haven't decided. I think I'm going to do her hair in black glitter. So she'll have the black glitter fabric for her hair. And I'm honestly thinking, and you guys can give me feedback, I don't want to do a red dress on Bride of Frankenstein, because I don't think that fits. I haven't done Frankenstein yet. The Scarecrow is wearing my green fabric, but I'm not really fond of it. But that would be kind of what I would normally do. And that's kind of what the designer, like Anita Good Design, that's kind of like the colorway she went with. But again, she was doing different colors than I am. But I'm thinking honestly about getting her a silver dress. Black glitter hair and silver dress. I think that would be fantastic. Alright, so now it's going to do the stipple on the ground. Giovanna says that she'll check it later as she's on the bed. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. He says it is posted in the Facebook group. Yeah, he's fantastic. His wife has been quilting longer than he has, but he is more famous because his work is different from everyone else's. And I will let you guys know a secret. And this is going to kind of sound weird. But if I hear a guy's name that is a quilter, I will guarantee you I'm going to go look at their page. And it's not because I have a preference towards one pattern over another or anything like that. I mean, you guys have seen I am basically doing anything and everything. Like, I'm doing embroidery, I've done my own designs, I'm doing cotton cuts, I'm doing the out there weird stuff too. But when there is a guy that is a quilter, 9 times out of 10, it is unique. It is something dramatically different from everything else, from anything else you can see. Guys do tend to think differently. I'm not saying that is true for every guy. Like, not every guy quilter thinks differently. But, I mean, Bill Engel or Bill Weeks. Okay, whoever it is that, oh no! We were just talking about that earlier too, Dawn. Oh my gosh. She says she just found a dead stink bug in her quilt project bag. Oh no. Welcome in, Candace. Glad you are here, lady. Thank you, thank you. So if there's a guy's name on a quilt pattern, or I hear about a guy quilter, I will typically go check out whatever their work is to see if it's something that I want to try to do. Pam says men do break the quilting rules easier. Typically they do. Giovanna says the best tailors are men. I can argue that one. Mike says that he has no rules, right? See, I'm trying to break. Susan says, wow, his quilts are absolutely amazing. Yes, they are. They are. They are fantastic. I mean, Ricky Timms broke some of the quilting rules. And especially when he came out with convergence quilts. And, I mean, convergence quilts are still, they're having a resurgence now. People are starting to, pull convergence quilts. They're pulling those out again. His feather pattern his feather pattern that's on my Ricky machine, like the faceplate, is all decorated. That was unique and bold and completely breaking the mold of what quilting was when Ricky brought that out. Like, it was just not, it's not that it wasn't ever done before, but it wasn't popularized. Like, it wasn't astounding or pretty or eye-catching. And then Ricky does it, and it's fantastic. George, Siciliano, when, he pulls all these ideas out and everything. Let me see what all is going into this one real quick. Okay. Gosh darn it. They're making my mind up for me. Great. Okay. We're going with a silver. Not really what I wanted to do, but it's okay. We'll make it. I mean, with George, sorry about dumping the camera, you guys. With George Siciliano, his designs break the rules because they're so tiny, they're so micro, they're so different from everything else that's out there. And that's kind of the deal. I mean, guys tend to, it's not necessarily that they're rules, hard and fast rules, that they can't be broken. It's, oh, I left my white in while I was doing dark. Oops, my bad. It is what it is. But it's just, I don't know. Every guy quilter that I've come across that is a designer, if he's designing quilts or designing patterns or whatever, 9 times out of 10, it's going to break the rules or break the mold of what is popular, but it's also going to be stunning at the same time. Which, it's not every quilt is going to be stunning, but I perk up when I hear a guy's name because of that. So, I might be a little biased, but I do. Let's see, Mike says, in my design training, I always learned to design against the grain and turn it upside down. It just works for my brain. Yeah. I am the one who I learned to write upside down and backwards in my 7th and 8th grade history class because my professor was absolutely put you to sleep boring. So I do kind of the same thing. Dawn says Ricky Timms is starting a Mad Adder group in January. I think I have to sign up by November 1st. It's kind of like a round robin. Yeah, I'm not going to do that one. Susan says I like the modern art quality of Ricky Timms and George's quilts. Yeah, absolutely. They definitely have a modern take to them. Melissa says, Mike, when I could draw, that's how I would do it. I love it. Mike says, great minds, Melissa. Think backwards, lol. Yeah, I would draw backward, or I would write backwards and upside down so that it could be read in a mirror. So I literally started, I couldn't turn my notebook upside down because then he would come looking at my notebook and would critique. Believe me, I tried. So since I couldn't turn my notebook upside down, what I would do is I would start at the bottom of my page and start writing backwards. And then he started realizing I was doing something different and he called me out for it. So what I started doing then was I would start at the top of the page like everyone else. And I would literally write backwards. So I'm right-handed, predominantly right-handed. I can write with my left. I did practice writing with my left. Giovanna says that means you would be able to write Arabic. If I could learn the characters, then probably. I would definitely be able to read Arabic easier. Chinese would definitely be a challenge for me because I've never... the closest that I've come to learning a language that is non-Germanic in that sense, and like non-Germanic in the letter structure, is Korean, and I could never get proficient enough in it. I did try. Welcome in, Judy. Welcome. She says, hi, Tammy and everyone. Welcome, welcome. Pam says that she's always wanted to do a Ricky Timms, but get stalled at color selection, so revert to traditional piecing colors. Okay, so the key to a Ricky Timms, if you're going to do a convergence quilt, is go to the store, go to your stash, go wherever, get your fabrics that you want to use. And you are going to pick out 4 fabrics. Just start with 4. You're going to pick out 4 fabrics. And you're going to group them in sets of 2. So 2 fabrics go to this pile, 2 fabrics go to that pile. Or you could just do 3. But just pick fabrics that, if you were to see it put together on a purse, if they would go well together on a purse or a bag, they will go well together in a Ricky Timms quilt. A convergence quilt, I'll put it that way. If you would find the colors pleasing to have on a purse or bag, then they will probably go well in convergence quilts. That was kind of my rule of thumb when I was teaching people how to do convergence quilts at my Bernina store. Is I would tell them, okay, this is, these work, these don't, and they'd be like, well, how can you tell? I was like, can you imagine wearing these on a purse? And they'd be like, oh, yeah, these would go together on a purse. Okay, then they go together in a convergence quilt. Because you can have very bold and different colors. Like you have, one fabric for the main body, you have a different fabric for the strap or purse, or pockets, or, accents, or you have, a different color lining. If all of that goes together for you, then that would be okay for convergence. And you can actually go with solids. Solids will work. It won't be as substantial of a difference as like an ombre or a tie-dye fabric might go, or even a batik would go, but it would be enough to get you going. You'd feel a little bit more confident after trying it. So yeah, that would be how I would go about shopping my stash to make a convergence quilt. is I would look and decide what I think would look good on a purse. And then I go from there. Yeah, this actually is going to do the bottom of the skirt too, so I kind of have to stick with it. That's why I chose gray. So I am going to do a silver dress. So, and the next piece that goes in is the silver. So we're going to get the glitter silver in there at least before I call it a day and have to take a break. I do have a couple of things I have to take care of today. So I can't stay on unlimited like I would like to. But that's okay, right? Because we all have lives. We all have to do things. So, yeah. So, just as a reminder, starting in November, I will not have this time slot. I'm not going to keep the 9 a.m. Saturday time slot. I may come on randomly on Saturdays, but we are going to move to Tuesday night, Thursday night, and Sunday night. So everything is staying the same except Saturday. So Saturday, instead of 9 a.m., we're going to move to Thursday night at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, which is 7 Central. That gives Kathy enough time to get home, and she's going to be coming over and joining us because we are going to be working on Land That I Love. It is in the Celebrate with Quilts book by Lissa Alexander and Susan Ake. I'm having to think of words, guys. I'm having to think of words. Is it me or is Tammy buffering? It could be me. I was pausing for a minute. I don't know. I mean, everybody else, is your feed buffering? Is it doing something funky? Let me see what streams current bitrate is lower than the recommended, but I don't have a way to make adjustments. I don't know. And it says, yeah, the only thing is that the stream status is good according to YouTube. Okay, it's clear for Candace. Oh, it's replay though. It's replay. Now, I'm going to try to get on Saturdays, but I'm not going to have a set time. That's kind of my thing, is Saturday mornings, it's really hard for me to get up, and I'm already committed with Tuesdays and Sunday nights because they are working very well. Saturday mornings, I do get a lot of viewers. I do get quite a bit. We are starting Land That I Love in November. So the first Thursday in November, which puts it, let me put my calendar on my computer. Come on, calendar, there we go. November 7th. November 7th. We are starting Land That I Love. But I will I will try to come on some Saturdays. It just won't be a regular every week Saturday thing. What I'm thinking right now is that I'm going to do a once a month Saturday. So I don't know exactly which Saturday I'm going to pick. It's probably going to be first or second Saturday, but I'm not sure. So just be aware, my Saturdays are not going to be an every week Saturday starting in November. We're probably, like I said, we're probably going to go to a once a month guaranteed, and then randomly as I can handle. So, because I really do struggle getting up in the mornings, so even getting up for this one this morning, I was asleep until 30 minutes before the live. Like, I was actually in bed, not moving. Let me stitch the outline real quick, and then we'll get this put down and get her dress in here so you guys can see her dress. Oh, her dress is a lot bigger than I thought. Okay, well then. The Bride of Frankenstein has a really long train. Susan says, I have the book but not doing so long. Found another pattern in the book that is now my must-make list. Well, if it uses a lot of the same blocks, Susan, then you could actually do it as a sew along. It's just not going into a Land That I Love quilt. Because that book does have a lot of overlap. Because when we start getting, once we get out of November and December, then it's going to be whichever blocks Kathy and I choose to make, because it's the rest of it is a sampler. So we have a lot of options. So just so you guys are aware, I am making sure that I keep my fingers out of the way. And I am looking down more when I'm doing the part where I've got to keep the fabric in place. If you are into spray based, and you can also spray based, I would not glue, because you don't always know if the glue is going to come through your fabrics. So I don't bother doing that. There we go. Oh, it's doing her face next. Okay, so maybe we'll get a little bit more of her put in place. Oh, what did I just click? I just clicked something by accident. Okay. I don't see anything. Alright. So now I get to trim around her dress. You guys can see that a little bit. These blocks can come in a larger size, I believe. I just don't have a big enough hoop to do a larger size. And these are coming out, I think, just under 5 inches. So they're not super big blocks. So it does have to put a lot of detail into a really tiny spot. When I say that, it always makes me think of the Disney movie Aladdin. When the genie pops out of the bottle in the cave of wonders, and he's talking about all of his ginormous power and, you know, all of these things that he can do, but it's a tiny living space. That's what I think of every time I say something like that. Alright, let's see. And I don't know. Oh, maybe I was going to do her face in glitter. Oh, well. I can't do her face in silver now, because I've already done her dress in silver. So, maybe I'll make her face green. Since she's the Bride of Frankenstein, I can do Frankenstein's face in green as well. And that would give her a spooky effect. What do you guys think about a green face? Should I go with green? Give her a green face. And a little bit of trimming to still do. So the one thing that you want to do if you are doing machine applique like this is make sure not to overstretch your piece as you are cutting. So these are angled scissors as well. They're not just the duckbill, they are angled to make it easier. I think we're going to go with green. I think we are going to do it. Alright. So this is my shade of green. It's kind of like an olive, like a light olive green. I can keep the same bobbin thread, so I don't have to change back out to black. Which helps. Which helps. Alright. Well, there we go. Gotta get hold of it. Everybody went quiet now. That's because everybody's ordering books and patterns now. Because we've been talking about books and patterns all morning. Oh. I love to start new projects. I just need to finish the ones I got going too. Alright. Alright, so here's my green. We are just going to go ahead and do a green face. I think that'll be a fantastic use of this green. And I think with giving her a silver dress, silver wedding dress especially, because she's Bride of Frankenstein. Giving her silver dress, silver glitter dress to be exact, and giving her a green face, I can give Frankenstein himself a green face, and it will all match. It will look like it was intentional. Oh, Dawn says she's cleaning her sewing studio. Can't ever find anything. Oh, you haven't seen my shirt today. Alright, so give me a second. This is going to be specifically for Dawn now. And my hoodie is over in the other room too, or the other side of the room too. Okay, so Dawn. Okay, my sewing room isn't messy. I just have everything on display. That's what you need to adopt. Your sewing room isn't messy. You just have everything on display. That's all it is. Katie says, I have 3 projects in the barely started phase. That's enough for me. Kathy says, gotta run. Time for breakfast. Have a great weekend, everyone. Absolutely, Kathy. Thank you for being here. Yeah, so... my hoodie that is over in the other part of the room says I can't clean my sewing room because I keep getting distracted by all the cool stuff I find again. That one is actually kind of wearing out because I've worn it so much. Oh, my husband has a good sense of humor. He finds this stuff for me. Mike says I treat my studio like a showroom. Oh, yeah, tripping over things is a bad idea, Dawn. She says she doesn't like to trip over over things, yeah. Oh. You guys, that's so funny. So funny. I did not know when I put that shirt on this morning that was going to be the perfect shirt for today for you. Oh, but it definitely is. Yeah, so tomorrow night... we are going to be finishing up something, or we'll be working on something. I don't know what we're going to work on tomorrow night. I don't know if it's going to be more of this. It might be just because I need to finish more of it. Alright, next thing is her hair. So I'm going to change out my bobbin color because I am doing black glitter hair. I think that's appropriate for a bride. You know, she's got a glittery, silvery dress. She's going to have glittery hair, right? Pam says, I love Mom of Mom and Pop's shirt that says, I'm fine behind a pile of fabric. If we tell my husband about that, that will be on his shopping list for me for Christmas. I know my husband well, and that would be on the list. I definitely would not be able to stop him from buying that one for me. Candace says bye. Oh, bye, Candace. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. I'm going to get this hair stitched down, and then we're going to call it quits. I'm not going to trim it up. I'm just going to get it stitched down. And that will be it for today. There we go. There's that. Get it stitching so you guys can see the black glitter. Alright. Everybody's saying bye to Candace. They were saying bye to Kathy earlier. Everybody's leaving me. It's fine. Alright. Pull my thread out of the way. So my machine holds my thread for me. Sometimes it holds it too much, and so it's hard to get appliques in. Getting an applique piece in when it's holding the thread too tightly. So that's what you guys keep seeing me doing that. Pam says, I appreciate seeing how you thread a spool behind the machine. Yeah, that's the easiest way for me to reach it here. I could do the whole stand up and, do all this other mess, but I just don't see a point in it. Now, to be honest, if you really want to know, all the books tell you, and I know because I've read all the books, all the books tell you, put that thread spool back there. You don't technically have to do that. When you're threading a big spool, I could put it in front of me. I've got a clip up here, so from here my thread is going over to the clip and then going through the rest of the machine just like a normal spool of thread is. But it doesn't matter whether that thread spool goes behind the machine or in front of the machine. The only reason that I specifically have it behind the machine is because when I'm quilting, I like my thread to be back there, because then it's not here in my way of all of my space. If you have more room in front of your machine, there's nothing telling you, there's nothing other than the books saying that you can't put your thread in front of your machine. I mean, I would do it, and I have done it in the past. The book visual is just not clear on that thread catch. Yeah, it is. Their thread catch is right here. So when you're using a big spool or a thread stand, you thread through the catch here and then over. Now when you wind a bobbin, you also thread through that catch, especially for big spools, and then thread around and then back to your bobbin. If you have a thread spool on the side of your machine, there will typically be a thread catch as well. Giovanna says so long as the thread flows smoothly. Yeah, and that is kind of the thing. So when you thread on this spool pin right here, this one, the horizontal one, thread is designed to come off this way. It is designed to come off the spool that way. If you have a horizontally threaded spool, Coats and Clark, King Tut, and there's a couple of others that I have. I don't use a lot of Coats and Clark, so just bear with. Sometimes those thread spools do not like to unthread smoothly, so you can put them here. I would recommend putting a spool, a foam spool pad underneath it so that it spins smoothly. My problem is if you don't put like a thread net over your spool, you may still have problems with it coming like over pulling too fast, and then your thread falls down and winds up around your spool pin. So I don't use that one very often at all. I use it more to hold than anything else. But yeah, thread through the catch here and then over into the back of your pickups here. Typically, if you look at how your machine says to thread a bobbin, or to wind a bobbin, that is what you're going to look for when you are threading a big spool on any brand machine. That is the guidelines that the machine manufacturer recommends for using a large spool. That is typically what happens, unless your machine brand has decided that you're only going to use small spools ever. But that's up to your machine brand. But it really doesn't matter if it's in front of or behind. When I ran the store, I can guarantee you those thread spool, these things were sitting in front of the machine, because I didn't need to have anything else in front of the machine. So I could have them in front of the machine. So when I had big spools like my black, my whites, my reds, especially for Christmas, and then greens, I had big spools of those. I definitely put them in front of the machine. Alright, so I'm going to turn this up here in just a minute after I get off the live, but I'm going to call it a day. So we have a glittery silvery dress, we have glittery black hair, a green face, and then we have a haunted house tucked away back here in the background. Alright, so I'm going to call it a day. I will see you guys on Sunday night. If you have not hit that thumbs up or thumbs down, please do that. If you know anybody who would be interested in watching my channel or watching my channel content, we are less than 30 away from hitting that 500 goal. So please feel free to share my channel out. Please, please, please help promote. I appreciate all the help. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow night, and we'll see how many of these I have gotten done before then. And yeah, we'll start looking towards scheduling the long sew to put all these together. Alright, I will see you guys later. Thank you for being here this morning. Have a great day, and as always, go touch some fabric, go touch some thread, Have some fun with the needle. Don't stab yourself too much with it, but go have some fun. And thank you for being here